Sarah Paul. In this unforgettable episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Sarah Paulson, known for her roles in American Horror Story, becomes the target of Ellen's playful pranks.
She got here today, and I thought, well, she's in scary movies and scary TV shows all the time. She must love to be scared.
No.
First, before the show even starts, Ellen hides in Sarah's dressing room closet. When Sarah walks in, Ellen jumps out and scares her so badly that Sarah almost cries. Later, as Sarah talks about the earlier scare on stage, Ellen pulls off another one. A staff member, dressed as a witch, sneaks up behind Sarah. When Sarah notices, she lets out a huge scream, startled all over again.
Yeah. Really?
Finally, just when Sarah thinks it's over, Ellen surprises her one last time. Sarah spots a box next to her and starts eyeing it suspiciously. Sure enough, a clown jumps out of the box and scares Sarah so badly that she screams and ducks under the table.
I'm really scared that something was...
No, nothing more is going to happen.
Sharon Osbourne. Similarly, during a live episode of The Talk, Sharon Osbourne was casually chatting with her co-host when something completely unexpected happened.
He's cute.
Right.
Oh, yes. Or you can say, oh,
Jamie
he's
Dornan
cute.
like that.
And they're two different things, and he's cute.
Her two started falling out right in the middle of the conversation. At first, she tried to keep going, but then she suddenly realized what was happening and couldn't help reacting. The other hosts in the audience were shocked for a second, but then the whole studio burst into laughter.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Is it going to be cute? What I think that is?
But Sharon took it like a champ. She held the tooth in her hand, laughed about it, and even joked about needing glue to stick it back in.
Don't show!
Harrison Ford. Next up, we've got a hilarious moment from the Graham Norton Show featuring Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling. While talking about a movie script, Harrison got super excited and started praising the character Ryan was supposed to play.
Came up with a good with the story. I read it and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great.
But the funniest scene begins when he kept messing up Ryan Gosling's name. Not once, but twice. And both times, Ryan corrected him in a sarcastic way that made everyone laugh.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah. And they said, oh.
Steve Martin. Just rewinded to a golden late-night moment from 1978. Steve Martin dropping by The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. During a show, Steve had to leave early for a movie rehearsal, and Johnny, even the gentleman, tried to give him a polite send-off. But Steve wasn't going quietly.
Thanks for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
But instead of quietly heading out, he kept coming back in the funniest way by turning a simple goodbye into a full-on comedy mode. Johnny couldn't stop laughing. The audience was loving it as well, and for a minute, it looked like Steve might just ditch the movie and stay. It was even hilarious when a grown man started acting like a little kid in need of some reassurance.
I don't have to leave.
Tom Holland. While this another funniest moment came from the Graham Norton Show in 2018, Tom Holland recounts a cringeworthy encounter with Madonna. He describes an awkward situation at a nightclub where his friend, trying to be funny, told Madonna that Tom was an amazing dancer.
Jason can see me panicking and goes, Madonna, Tom is an incredible dancer.
As Tom's friend teases Madonna, claiming Tom's an amazing dancer, and she insists on seeing it. As soon as they hit the dance floor, Tom realizes his mistake. He was once a dancer, but now he's just awkwardly winging it. Madonna isn't impressed, and Tom quickly bolts off the floor, hoping to save face.
The dance floor, and as soon as I took her, I realized that this was a mistake. It was a big mistake.
The next day, Tom shares the story with his family over FaceTime. When Tom tells his family the story, they all burst into laughter, and Tom also laughs at how ridiculous it all was.
My mum is cringing, and then my little brother Paddy goes, who's Madonna?
Michael McIntyre. During an appearance on the Graham Norton Show, Michael McIntyre decides to test out some of his new stand-up material, and it turns into a hilarious bit about odd English phrases. He dives into quirky double-word phrases we use all the time, questioning why we never hear just half of them on our own.
Because it's on my new TV show.
I'm doing one of our songs from our album.
To make things even funnier, he shares a story about asking his tiny Maltese tour manager to check if Australians even understand the phrase hanky-panky.
His name's Grazia. I said, Graz, can you go and find out if they know the phrase hanky-panky here? Because I don't want to do this joke and everyone just stares at me.
The poor guy ends up asking a huge security guard about the meaning of that phrase. Michael keeps the audience laughing as he points out how some words oddly don't seem to have an opposite. The audience couldn't stop laughing. Even Chris Martin enjoys every second of a segment.
You can be overwhelmed.
Right.
But you're never just whelmed, are you?
Well, there's 2 days, not you and me.
Hugh Jackman. On the other hand, Patrick Stewart shares a hilarious and unexpected story that has Hugh Jackman struggling to stop laughing on Graham Norton's show. The story begins with a simple conversation at home with his wife, where they end up debating whether or not Patrick is circumcised. Patrick insists that he is, but his wife disagrees, leaving him completely confused.
She said, "You're not circumcised." I said, "What do you mean? You only know."
The very next day, during a routine visit to his doctor, Patrick decides to clear things up and asks the doctor for confirmation. After a quick examination, the doctor informs him that, in fact, Patrick is not circumcised. The doctor, who happens to be Jewish, humorously adds that he's familiar with the difference.
And he goes, "Not."
Hugh Jackman, unable to contain himself, bursts into laughter as Patrick shares the amusing details of this unexpected revelation. Kevin Hart. In a 2014 segment on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Kevin Hart faced a challenge that many would try to avoid, that is riding a roller coaster. Hart, known for his fearless comedy, took a more reluctant approach when Fallon convinced him to join in. As the two strapped themselves in, Kevin was clearly not thrilled about what was to come.
We're in the front. Come on, Kevin, you have to do it. Kevin, you have to do it. Come on, we said we can do it. Come on, we got it.
The moment the coaster starts, Kevin's anxiety skyrockets. As they strap in, Jimmy jokes with him, and Hart's nervousness building. Once the ride started, he was scared, and the twists and turns of riding only made things worse for him. But in the end, Kevin never imagined that his fear during the ride would turn into such a hilarious moment in the show. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise brought his daredevil energy once again, but this time dragging James Corden into a skydiving adventure. He convinced James Corden to join him for a skydiving adventure, something James clearly never planned to check off his bucket list.
And I'm terrified. Are we genuinely doing this?
I'm just amazed you're here. This is great. We're going to do this.
From the get-go, James was terrified while Tom stayed cool and focused, guiding him through training like it was just another day.
Next time you come on the show, let's just do a chat. We'll do a chat segment at the desk.
As James finally takes the leap, it's clear he's absolutely terrified. His nervousness and mid-air panic make the whole thing even funnier. Dennis Quaid. In a 2008 episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Dennis Quaid proved he's not just a serious actor, but also a good sport when it comes to comedy. With Ellen feeding him lines through an earpiece, Quaid walked into a coffee shop and said everything she told him he would have to say, no matter how ridiculous it could be. On the other hand, Dennis Quaid agreed to do what she says.
Here we go.
Okay, don't talk to me like you're talking to me. You're just, you're by yourself.
All right.
Dennis Quaid kicked things off with a loud, over-the-top entrance that instantly got everyone's attention. He didn't hold back, happily making a fool of himself as Ellen fed him silly lines through his earpiece. From the way he ordered coffee to how he chatted with strangers. He kept doing whatever the host told him till the end and had everyone laughing the whole time. Jim Carrey on The Late Night Show. Starring David Letterman, Jim Carrey had everyone laughing with a story about his dad. In this funny throwback, he talks about his dad's habit of nodding and laughing at everything, even when he couldn't hear what was said. He'd lean in, dip his head, and then burst out laughing, even if he missed the joke. Jim calls it the dip and laugh, and when he acted it out on stage, the crowd couldn't stop laughing on the way he shared his personal story. In another hilarious segment from the same show, Jim joked about how money changed his life in unexpected ways, including how he laughs at parties. He used to laugh modestly, but now, with wealth, his laugh had taken on a whole new, exaggerated flair. Jim's exaggerated rich guy laugh had everyone bursting out laughing, even Letterman as well. Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien didn't hold back during his short time on The Tonight Show. In one hilarious segment, he went all out pretending to spend NBC's money on the most over-the-top things, including a luxury Bugatti dressed as a mouse.
This theme song is the original master recording of the Rolling Stones classic, Satisfaction.
It was his fun, clever way of poking at the network while giving the audience a good laugh. Even it didn't feel forced or scripted, just Conan being unapologetically himself, having fun, and making the best of a tricky situation.
Price tag for this comedy bit, $1.5 million.
President Obama Zach Galifianakis' quirky talk show, Between Two Ferns, is known for its awkward humor and bizarre interviews. But in 2014, it hit a whole new level when President Barack Obama showed up as a guest.
My guest today is Barack Obama. President Barack Obama.
Good to be with you.
Sitting between the infamous Ferns, Zach didn't hold back, throwing bold and hilarious questions at the president, including one about his legacy as a black leader. Surprisingly, Obama played along perfectly, firing back with a witty response that made the moment even more fun at that time.
Be the last black president.
Seriously? What's it like for this to be the last time you ever talked to a president?
Nathan Fielder. Nathan Fielder, known for his sharp and unusual sense of humor, stopped by Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2017 and totally owned the moment. He didn't just tell jokes, he rolled out a bizarre story that only he could pull off, leaving the audience both cracking up in the best way.
If the plane goes down, you know, you're not going to get blood on your nice clothes, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Leave them to your heirs.
Everything Nathan says feels real and funny, like he's just sharing a crazy life story, but he planned the whole thing as a prank. He gets to tell this wild story that actually happened, but only because he made it happen. In the end, it surprises everyone and makes them laugh at the same time.
You must have been...
Seriously.
Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was truly one of a kind, blending comedy with performance art like no one else. When he showed up on the David Letterman show in 1980...
You quit the show? Yeah. You're no longer going to be on Taxi?
Right.
You have your own show?
No.
During his 1980 appearance on the David Letterman show, Andy Kaufman gave viewers a kind of way to laugh. With long pauses, awkward coughing, and blank stares, he launched into a slow, uncomfortable story about his personal and financial struggles.
If you don't laugh, because I'm not trying to be funny right now.
It all ends in a weirdly funny moment when Kaufman starts asking the audience for money. Then, to everyone's surprise, he walks into the crowd and actually tries to collect it.
Thank you very much.
Steve Carell. Another funniest TV moment came out from the Graham Norton Show. On this hilarious episode of the Graham Norton Show, things take a wild turn when a random fly starts buzzing around the guests. Steve Carell, always quick with a joke, jumps in to demonstrate his unique way of handling such tiny intruders, and he totally steals the moment.
Because the fly feels the pressure of the air coming from either side, so you trick it.
Later during the conversation, Chris O'Dowd takes a sip of his drink and finds a fly in it. He reacts in the funniest way, and Kristen Wiig looks disgusted, but everyone else is laughing. In the end, he sets the fly on the table, and everyone laughs, pretending as he was gathered at a small, humorous funeral of fly.
Oh, let's see. Oh. Okay, are you ready, Steve? Are you ready?
Nicole Kidman. When Nicole Kidman appeared on Jimmy Fallon's show, he likely expected a standard interview. However, the 2015 segment took an unexpected twist with a shocking confession.
Right?
That is correct.
No.
But this is years ago, and do you want me to tell my version of the story?
Yeah, you tell your version.
Nicole Kidman shares a moment from years ago when she once visited Jimmy Fallon's apartment and casually reveals that she actually liked him back then. Jimmy was shocked and completely stunned, like his entire life just flashed before his eyes. He keeps asking if she's serious, clearly trying to make sense of what he just heard.
I'm married now. But he was like, oh, well, you can meet. I don't.
The audience saw it too. They were just as shocked as he was, realizing he had completely missed his chance. Emma Stone. A lot of stars have done lip syncs on different shows, but Emma Stone's performance on Jimmy Fallon's show had the audience cracking up with laughter and surprise. The way she threw herself into every song had everyone rolling with laughter and totally hooked. Even Fallon losing it too, he was just as mesmerized as the rest of all. Emma Stone didn't just go up there for fun, but she owned it. She turned lip syncing into a complete performance and raised the standard for everyone. Bill Hader. Bill Hader shared a hilarious story about Conan, recalling his time working with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the set of Collateral Damage. He described Arnold's larger-than-life personality, even in the most casual moments.
4.5, father. To get out of here.
One standout memory was when Arnold, with a cigar in hand, asked Bill to show his leadership abilities in a way that only Arnold could. But the conversation takes a fun turn when Bill imagines Arnold as a baby, still trying to act tough with his signature attitude.
I don't know, I'll find them. And he goes, find them, show me your leadership capabilities.
Rihanna. After the prank, Jimmy Kimmel couldn't resist talking about it on his show. In a later episode, he discussed the whole surprise with Rihanna, and you could tell he was still reeling from the shock.
Let's get him.
Yeah, well, you did. And, well, let's show the video. This is what happened at my house.
Rihanna laughed about how she managed to pull it off, with his wife, Molly McNerney, assisting her in quietly entering his house in the middle of the night, while he was fast asleep. She then surprised him by performing her hit song, Be Better Have My Money, right in his bedroom. The shock and confusion on Kimmel's face as he wakes up to this unexpected performance makes for one of the funniest moments in talk show history. Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald always brought his own wild energy to talk shows, but his 1997 appearance on Late Night with Conan O'Brien was no different.
Before, during the commercial, I was saying I had a huge crush on her. Yeah. And then you said you did too.
Things get hilarious when Courtney Thorne-Smith casually mentions she's doing a movie with Carrot Top. That's all Norm Macdonald needs to dive in with his signature humor. As the chat goes on, he keeps tossing in quick jabs, and it all leads up to one unforgettable punchline about the movie's title.
You're the biggest ass I ever met.
Their hilarious conversation made an ordinary show into a comedic one.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
Jack Whitehall. In this segment from The Graham Norton Show, comedian Jack Whitehall shares a hilarious and awkward experience he had in a Spanish restaurant.
Well, no, I'm not great with the old language barrier. I was in Spain, and I was in a restaurant.
He tells the story of struggling with a toilet that wouldn't flush, no matter how many times he tried. The situation gets even more amusing when Jack tries to explain the issue to the waiter. Eventually, Jack brings the waiter into the restroom, and, of course, the toilet flushes perfectly. The whole tale leaves Jennifer Lawrence laughing so hard that she ends up in tears.
I ushered him into the toilet, right? I pointed at my poo.